Hey climbers, Brent here. Are you ready to write your best songs ever? Are you ready to take that next step in your songwriting journey? Well, I want to help you with that. Listening to the C.L.I.M.B podcast is a great way to get started on your songwriting journey and to learn the basics about the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. But eventually, you're probably going to need the personal touch. You're probably going to need some one-on-one feedback, some advice, and some help reaching your songwriting goals. And that's what I want to help do for you. I want to help you write your best songs ever. And I want to help you learn the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting, of how to turn pro in your mind and in your behavior before you ever turn pro on paper. Before you ever have the awards to hang on the wall, I want to give you the mindsets and the skills to earn that stuff. And so we'll dive into your questions and I'll give you honest answers. And I can help repair your song if it's already written but has a couple bugs and has some opportunities to get better. Or we can help prepare your song if you have an idea, a notion, a title. We can do your own private song title challenge if you want. If you want to get ready for a co-write, if you have a meeting coming up and you want to get your stuff locked down where it's the best it can be, I'm happy to help you do that as well. You can see my calendar, get all the details, and actually book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching. Now, if you're still not sure if a coaching session with me is the right thing for you, let's listen to what this climber had to say about their session.
This review is for anyone who is on the fence about booking a session with Brent Baxter. I have done several one-on-one coaching sessions via Skype and also completed an online class that Brent hosted a few months ago. I have nothing but great things to say about both of these experiences. I am a physician and a hospital administrator. Music and songwriting are two of my favorite hobbies and have been for many years. But as a hobbyist and someone who spends a great deal of time at work and in my career, it can be difficult to concentrate on something completely unrelated, or for that matter, to devote the tremendous time and energy that is required to see decent results. Brent is a true professional who can quickly orient himself to what you want and what you need and be that perfect lyric writing partner that you otherwise would not be able to find. I tried writing with other amateurs online in the past, but it never went anywhere. Having the insight and experience of a professional, someone who has dedicated his career to the development of his craft, really makes a difference. If you do your part after he does his, I guarantee you will be happy that you spent the money and the time, and you will be hooked.
All right, welcome to another Song Title Challenge where the question is, climbers, how would you write this one? This is where climbers send in their song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com. And you put Song Title Challenge in the subject line. You can send in as many titles as you like, all in one email and multiple emails. We don't care, but we put them in a folder. I spring them live to Brent on the podcast. And we spend the first 15 minutes here trying to mimic what happens at the beginning of a professional songwrite, where there's a title that's put forth, and the writers will try to cook up 4 to 5 different conceptual angles on what the lyrics could be before they begin to actually write the lyrics. Like, what does the title mean? This is a fun, creative exercise. It's not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. So you own 100% of the song. Use everything we throw at you. Use none of it. We only demand that you invite us to the number one party, right, Brent?
That's right, even if it's virtual and online.
Are you ready?
Never, but that has never stopped us.
We've done a song title from Brad Mays before. He actually did pickup lines. I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so he sent in some other ones, and I wonder what we're going to come up with on this one. So here's the title. It's Brad Mays. The song title is Drip, Drip, Drip.
Okay. Interesting. Brad, thanks for sending that in. I think there's some stuff we can work with here. This may be a little surprising. This could get cool. Hopefully. A couple things here is I'm thinking like to drip from a faucet. Probably the first thing we think of, drip, drip, drip.
Yep.
Leaky faucet. The guy's at his house and she's gone. She's not there anymore. She left him. And it's so quiet. And it's like drip, drip, drip. Like Chinese water torture kind of thing. It's driving you crazy, like that drip, drip, drip in the middle of the night. And maybe it is in the middle of the night. And you can hear the sink. Maybe that's a metaphor. The stuff he didn't take care of, the maintenance, kind of like we talked about in my last episode about keeping score, the things that may not make a big difference right then, but eventually things will break.
Oh, yeah, like an Edgar Allan Poe thing where he hears the water dripping. He can't sleep at night, and now he's going back and thinking about all the things he let sort of drip through his hands.
Yeah, like I didn't fix that sink. And I didn't do this other stuff that could have kept her around. Like, I just wasn't there. And now she ain't there. Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, you put a good melody to that. That could be a killer little hook that keeps coming back. I don't know if it'd be like a AAA song, but it would be like a couple lines, drip, 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 couple lines, drip, drip, drip.
Yeah, it could be something like that. He's listening to that. He can't sleep for many reasons because she's gone. He's all up in his head. He hear that dripping. Like, man, I didn't take care of that. She asked me to 5 times. I didn't do it. I was busy. And, you know, that shows how he was in that relationship. He wasn't all the way in, and now she's gone. Drip, drip. So there's that kind of thing. It's like he just let her go, drip, 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 little by little. If you take it a different way where he's not just lying in bed, he could be sitting there in the kitchen thinking and drinking, and you got the drip, drip, and he could play with the same kind of thing, like I didn't fix it and all this stuff, and thinking about her tears, drip, 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 and now I'm drinking. Last little bit out of that whiskey bottle, drip, drip, drip.
Oh,
right?
Man, that's strong.
You can do that too. You know, you weave those together. Now, these are all kind of negative, sad, she left me things, which may be the more obvious. At least it was to me, because that's the first thing I thought of. Before we go positive, I think also of IVs.
Oh,
Up at the top part of it, that stuff is drip, drip, dripping in. That could be a thing too. You just never know. Maybe the years got away from him, drip, drip, drip. That relationship with your dad that you never had, drip, drip, drip. And now you're not in a spot where you can really tell him that. Could be that kind of thing, which again, heavy, sad.
You know what else? The hangover recovery thing that's real big now, where you get saline solution and stuff from an IV bag. It has potassium and saline and all kinds of nutrients that bounce you back from a nasty hangover. Another way you could spin that is with the drip, drip, drip of the empty whiskey bottle, and then now it's the next day and I'm drip, drip, drip with an IV bag.
How do you take it?
Well, if you're my sister, who's an ER physician, then she brings them to the family gatherings. But some of them are like stores. Some of them are maybe like a truck that goes around. And as you can imagine, they're not cheap because you're desperate. But I think it's $35 or $50. And basically...
And they're literally putting a needle in your arm for an IV.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
I don't think you can like get out of high school and go work at that place. I think that you've got to have some kind of... medical something for that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you it works. My sister's a doctor. It's awesome.
She brings them.
It's super fun to go hard to the paint the night before when you know you got the drip, drip, drip the next day.
That's hilarious.
How about drool? Like drip, drip, drip. I think of Ren and Stimpy.
Not a whole lot going on. He gets quiet. I can hear him thinking. I can kind of hear the drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
Not much going on in there. That's funny. What else? Drip, drip, drip. A car that's leaking oil. What are the things that drip, 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 right?
Yeah.
A car that's leaking oil. What if it's just that so many of us can possibly relate to almost a Brandy Clark kind of thing, or an Ashley McBride kind of like, this town or this house, I got to get the F out of this place, because you got the sink going drip, 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 and the car outside leaking oil, drip, 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 and I'm going crazy, drip, drip, drip. That could be a kind of a thing too. Boy, I'd like to find some positive ones though. Rain, maybe? Not a leaky roof thing. That'd be another drip, drip. Grace is coming down, drip, drip, drip.
You could make that leaky roof positive, though. Why is it leaky? What does it mean? This is probably too heady for a country song, but I think of Tony Robbins, who was so poor when he grew up. His mom never could afford Thanksgiving. They could never get a turkey or anything. So now he feeds like hundreds of thousands of people on Thanksgiving every year. So that drip, drip, drip and the run-down shack all of a sudden motivated you to go make this happen. What if it's like a very, very beautiful piece of lyrical furniture that describes what's happening maybe the first time you're with this girl, maybe the first time you have sex, kind of like a strawberry wine, you know, something like that, where...
Oh, Dina Carter, yeah.
You describe this amazing experience with this person and the roof was leaking. You know, it was in a rainstorm. It was this sort of ancillary thing that happens.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Or the roof is leaking, the sink is dripping or whatever, but we got each other.
Yeah, Another Day in Paradise kind of a vibe.
Could be that. Could be sweeter, or it could be like Another Day in Paradise, which is a Phil Vassar song, which is upbeat, up-tempo. Hey, so nice, just another day in paradise. Even in spite of all this stuff.
Yeah.
The milk's gone sour, all this stuff, and bills and all that. Drip, drip, drip. It's like my cup overflows. What if it's the thing, my cup overflows, drip, drip, drip? He's under the sink, fixing that thing as it goes drip, drip, drip. And he's going to be patching the roof later, and he's under the car with the drip, 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 and he does all this stuff for her. and her cup runneth over, drip, drip, drip.
Oh, see, now you just turned it positive. That's brilliant. What if it's a fun female song, upbeat, fun female song where the handyman is like super hot, right? And so you keep coming up with reasons that he needs to come back over to the house.
Right, yeah.
Drip, drip, drip. So I called my man. Yeah, like
loosening the sink up and yanking on the sink. I'm sorry, little drip, drip, drip. And he's out there sweating.
Yeah.
She's just watching it drip, drip, drip.
Yeah, yeah. You know, he's like in his jeans with his shirt off, and he's got like an 8-pack, you know, built like an upside down Christmas tree. And she's just in there sipping on a sweet tea, looking at him.
Yeah. And she's going sip, 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 and she's just watching the sweat drip, drip, drip. You know, that'd be pretty funny.
A broken solo cup. Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah. A little crack in the solo cup. Going back to the idea of he's under the sink and he's under the car fixing these leaks. It is kind of that Another Day in Paradise. You're talking about the sink leaking and there's spots on the driveway outside and drip, 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 and it can drive you crazy. But you're talking about how much he loves you and every little kiss. And it's not perfect, but he's so good. And her cup runs over, drip, drip, drip. Like he keeps her love tank full kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Good to the last drop, too, comes into that maybe, like the coffee thing.
Yeah. In spite of this stuff not being perfect, like we're good. And her cup runs over, drip, 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 or his cup runs over, or my cup runs over, drip, drip, drip. Just showing that in spite of all this other stuff that's not perfect, boy, he's good to me. And he keeps depositing drips and it keeps my cup running over, you know, with blessings, every little kiss and every kind word. And him getting under that sink to fix it, that stuff that shows like it's not perfect, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
So I really like the first one we had where the guy's just realizing all this stuff he let go on drip by drip. And then I like the positive one, in spite of this stuff that's not perfect, her cup runs over drip by drip, 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 drip. He's always just making little deposits in the love tank.
Maybe this is a stretch, but it could be upbeat and it could be fun. When you run out of something and you got to pivot, you got to call an audible, you got to do something different.
Yeah.
You know? If you run out of coffee creamer, if you run out of chocolate sauce, if you run out of booze, you know, whatever. The last 3 drips, and now you've got to be like, oh,
yeah,
what am I going to do now? It could be that kind of a thing where it could be an uplifting song where that could be fun or funny or meaningful, where you talk about the pivot, the last 3 drips of liquor, and that was the one when he's holding the bottle. Like a cocaine addict who goes to sniffing on the floor when they run out of coke. He's just watching those last 3 drips, and then it hits him how important alcohol is to him, and so he changes his ways, or maybe something like that, sort of edgy but uplifting.
Yeah, it may not be edgy depending on your genre. I mean, that's part of it too, is going, well, what can we talk about? I couldn't talk about that in Southern Gospel, but
girls can be dripping in stones. They say you're dripping in diamonds.
Oh, dripping in diamonds, like Diddy. Yeah, that could be cool. And let me fill up your drink, girl. Drip, drip, drip.
That could be actually a killer rap title for the whole ostentatious, over-the-top money thing. Drip, drip, drip. And this guy just makes it rain with the money. Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah, it could be that. Take another sip, 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 and that kind of stuff, like buying you drinks and she's dripping in diamonds.
After a fresh rain, water drips off the leaves of a tree if you're out fishing or something like that.
That's a good one, too, because after a rain, the sun's coming out, and what if you're sitting on the porch with your girl, or if you're a girl sitting out there with your guy or whatever, and the drip's coming off the porch or
tin roof,
coming off the house or coming out of the leaves on the tin roof. That's nice. But the sun's coming out, and you got that drip, drip, drip. And that could also lead to your cup runs over, drip, drip, drip. Yeah. If you put maybe 3 of those things together. Drip, drip, drip. Take another sip, sip, sip of this lemonade or this sweet tea. More of the back porch relaxing with your other.
I want to kiss you on the lips.
Yeah.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Yeah.
It's a drip, drip, drip. Take another sip, sip, sip.
Good as it can get.
Yeah. There you go. You can play around with it like that.
Yeah.
That's some killer ideas, man.
Yeah.
We hit the ground running on that one.
Yeah. Brad, that was fun. Thank you. Thanks for sending that in. And where do they send it if they have more ideas? Because we can always use more.
Send your ideas into info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. And put song title challenge in the subject line. So info@daredevilproduction.com. And send us as many as you want.
That's right.
And if they want to do it privately, what can they do?
I do private coaching, consulting, all that good stuff. Always consulting, never insulting. That's me. You can get the details. You can see my calendar, and you can book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. I do have a 33% discount going on right now while we're on pandemic mode, and that code is COVID-19 sucks. I know you know how to spell COVID-19. COVID-19 sucks, and that'll save you 33%. I can help you prepare your song. I can help you repair your song. We can do Q&A about the art, the craft, the business of songwriting. I'm at your service. That's at songwritingpro.com/coaching.
There you go, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another song title challenge. This podcast exists because we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Song title challenge.